In this bag, I've got the brand new Callaway ELYTE irons. There's the standard ELYTE irons and then ELYTE X. I'm excited about hitting these because a lot of the technology is to help off-centered hits. That's the big story. And I think they actually look really good. Yeah, they look really nice. Like quite a clean finish. A little bit of this kind of detailing across the back where it almost looks almost like little diamond shapes in the back. ELYTE, obviously that's the same name as the driver. Not fully sold on it, but I think it's a name that will grow. And yeah, just really clean looking iron. Now, price wise for these sets, 40 pitching wedge, they're £1,169. So effectively £169 per club. It's the same with the ELYTE and the ELYTE X. I'll come on to what makes these clubs different in a moment. But the main storyline is enhanced speed, feel and sound. They're the three factors that these irons are trying to cater for. There's a new speed frame which incorporates urethane microspheres to deliver exceptional sound and feel. Callaway definitely have played around with that in the past with decent success, to be fair. There's a new AI 10 times face, which is effectively making the face more powerful, more consistent in more areas. And last thing is there's a new tri-sole on these irons as well. So there's actually three very different angles on the bottom of the golf club for that turf interaction. It is actually quite subtle, like it's hardly visible to the eye, but if you look very closely, certainly on maybe the pitching wedge as well, it's a little bit more obvious. That leading edge has been just kind of shaven down on the front part, but done very subtly. Right, let's give these a hit. I'm gonna hit the 7 irons first, so I can compare the ELYTE to the ELYTE X, and then we'll hit the 5 irons and pitching wedges and we compare some numbers. Loft wise, on this particular model, it's 29 degrees for 7 iron, which is not ridiculously strong. I think anything under 30 degrees is strong, but it's not like it's stupidly strong. And then the Model X is just 1 degree stronger. That's a nice looking club. It's clean, it's quite shiny, which might be difficult in sunny climates, but that is a clean looking club. I'm really genuinely excited about hitting these. Oh. Yes, please. That was gorgeous. That was really nice. You know what it felt like? It felt a little bit more like a forged club. It's not, but it felt like it was. Sounded brilliant as well. Like a really satisfying noise. I expected it to be louder. Sometimes with these hollow-headed designs, if they're not done right, they can sound a bit harsh and a bit loud and not particularly, doesn't relate that back to a soft feel. Sound and feel, again, I know that's the big storyline with these clubs. Oh, they were absolutely perfect. Not bad as again. That was a little bit skinny. We found green comfortably though, pin high. So far those 2 golf shots are really nice. I've actually put the green out here at 180 yards, so a solid hit in 7 iron. That could be in the hole. Come on. Yeah, very nice. Again, you know what? I'm going to be, well, I'm always truthful with it, but to be honest there, I actually caught that a little bit from the toe. I didn't flush that right in the middle, yet that was still the performance. Solid, really solid. Let's hit a couple more. Again, one that wasn't absolutely ripped. A little bit from the toe. Nice result, we're taking that every day. That was more middled. Slightly overdrawn it, but more middled. Very nice indeed. 5 solid golf shots with a 7 iron there. Right, let's move over to the X model. So a few differences and noticeable. It kind of looks like it's been juiced up. It looks like it's been extended in every area. It's definitely thicker on the sole, thicker on the top line, longer blade length. But apart from that, it's pretty much the same technology. So it's a larger profile, slightly more increased offset, which you can definitely see. So this might go a tiny bit further left. As I mentioned, it's 1 degree stronger. So this is 28 degrees now for the 7-iron. So this is the Callaway ELYTE X. Yeah, behind the ball, there's a definite difference. Personally, to my own view, I'm not the biggest fan of that, but I can imagine that to be quite confidence inspiring for a lot of golfers. It's a little bit chunky for me. Oh, it sounds different. I'm surprised actually it's not gone left. I think I've tried to fight that. It sounded so much louder, much more of that, you know what I was saying a minute ago, that kind of crack, that hard sound off a hollow-headed, not forged iron. It's what I expected the ELYTE to sound like. Yeah, that wasn't maybe as satisfying. That was nice again. I think I'm trying to fight it from going left. Yeah, this is going more towards the back of the green. Nice. It's the flight's good. I'm just not as big of a fan of the sound or the feel. Like, you can even just, if I'm just knocking the ball around here, it's on the mat, it just sounds a little bit, sounds more hollow. More, I suppose there's more club head, but it just sounds a little bit more dead. That was a tiny bit from the toe. Just gonna go back left of the green, over the green in fact. Yeah, that's almost a shot I'd expect to happen with this club. With that extra offset, it's gonna ideally stop it going right. That was almost me just letting go then and just letting it do what it's gonna do. And that's almost the shot shape I envision. Very high. The flight's really high. Well, that could end up really nice. Don't go too long. Stop. Yeah, just it'd be interesting to see the spin rate. Because even when that landed, it just ran out a little bit more. Considering the height was so good, yeah. Like even just the spin rate on that one was only just over 5,000 RPM, which is pretty low for a 7-iron. Okay, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna smack all the 5 irons from both sets, the 2 pitching wedges, and we'll have a look at some numbers. Okay, pitching wedge from the ELYTE. Five iron of the ELYTE. A long 5 iron. Even though these 2 sets look so similar, they're actually really different in performance. First, starting with ELYTE, I really enjoyed hitting those irons. I really do believe these are, I would say, very similar to like a P790, and that's a huge compliment. Really nice feel, wonderful sound, really solid performance. We know they're strong lofted, so we're going to get a little bit less spin, but the distance and the flight was really solid. I'll come through the numbers in a minute. ELYTE X, it just felt, in a good way, like a very different set of golf clubs. They could almost rebrand them and just call them almost Callaway Big Berthas, because of how wide the sole is, how thick the top line is, that extra bit of offset. Even though it's 1 degree stronger in loft, they flew so much further. I'll show you that in the numbers in a minute. And just sounded and felt very different. Like not as satisfying as the standard ELYTE, much more kind of hollow and almost a bit dead. Just not as nice. Let's dive through the numbers. Callaway ELYTE 7-iron, 29 degrees of loft, and that was carrying 176 yards on average. Spin rate just over 5,500, nearly 6,000. Acceptable just. The 5-iron was carrying 211 with spin rate just over 4,000, pretty solid. Pitching wedge was carrying 141, 8,600 spin. Like, they're okay. We can live with those numbers. We can compare that to the Elite X. The Elite X 7-iron was going 8 yards longer. Yet it was only 1 degree stronger. It was going 8 yards longer. So there's a lot of that to do with the footprint as well and that extra mass behind the shot. Spin rate dropped a little bit by 300 RPM. The 5-iron went 7 yards further with similar spin rates, and the pitching wedge went 148 yards, which was 7 yards longer again, and the spin rate dropped. Bigger separation in yardage than I expected. Normally a degree loft would equal about 3 to 4 yards. In this situation, 7 yards was the minimum gain in distance between the two sets of irons. They're nice. I think the Elite are very, very good. I think the Elite X will have a market, but I'm also a bit scared they might get a bit lost just being Elite X. I feel like they could have brought them out as a totally separate entity. Guys, thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Lots more to come. Be sure to subscribe to H.I.T, and we shall see you very soon.